And who are you working with now?
I work with Keith Shin.
Okay. Where's he out of?
He's down at it's Steelyard Training. It's a Snap Fitness in Coventry.
Okay.
Down south.
Yeah. How's that going?
Good.
What's the end game? What's the goal? What are you trying to do right now?
Well, my goal is, I was into CrossFit. Loved CrossFit. My shoulders took a beating.
Yeah.
I beat them to death. I've had 2 surgeries in the last couple of years, and I was looking for a healthier way to train for me. And I started lifting a little bit more than I normally had, and doing some strongman stuff. Did that competition up here.
Yeah. Did you do Odin's or did you do Highland or Hogan?
No, I did Odin's. Yeah. And that was my first strongman, and I'll tell you, that's the most fun I've had. Followed it up with another with a little powerlifting one down at Millennials.
Yeah.
It was more of a CrossFitter type one. There wasn't, I
think we had 2 of our people go down for that one.
Yeah, I think one of them beat me.
Yeah. Zane.
Yeah, he's a strong guy.
Yeah, he's tough. Him and Zach, his brother. Zach's like my right-hand man here, and Zane is, we make fun of him for being kind of a hipster, but he's taken a weightlifting. I had his brother all through high school, and I never even met Zane until probably a year ago when he came in here the first time, and just took to it. That both of them are super strong kids, and then his girlfriend was with him at that. But are you going to do any more? I mean, is this something?
It's something I'm looking to more get into. That's all. I've been strictly training just powerlifting now.
Yeah.
And I throw in strongman with it, just strength training, just pure.
Get strong.
And that's what I'm looking to do with the gym.
Yeah.
I'm looking to make that transition from the CrossFit functional fitness, not completely, but into more of strength. Just being as strong as you can. And I think you got to find a niche now because we're so it's CrossFit and it's just so overloaded.
And you're at Mastodor.
Yeah,
is the name of your gym, and that's in
Copley.
Okay, I think you're right. And the problem that most CrossFits are going to have, if they want to find that niche, is first of all you're going to have to put your ego aside a little bit and learn from people outside of CrossFit, because as good as someone like Rob Orlando. Rob Orlando has a very unique style. He's the quote unquote inventor of CrossFit strongman. If I was gonna do what you're doing, and we've gone that route, I would look for people outside of CrossFit to help me. I would look for guys who are intimately knowledgeable about strongman, and then I would go to someone else who's intimately knowledgeable about powerlifting, and then, like you're probably doing right now, try to figure out a way to incorporate that for your basic soccer mom off the street.
Yeah.
And it's a fantastic way to train them, because we do no Olympic weightlifting, other than maybe in a Metcon we'll do some clean and jerks. We do no high level gymnastics. And it's so much easier and so much less intimidating when they first get in here than to tell some woman who is, fresh off the boat that we're going to show you how to do handstand push-ups. And this is really easy. Let's just kick up on the wall. And, that's a scary proposition for me.
Absolutely.
Just because I'm 240 pounds, let alone, some woman who's never done anything athletic before in her life. And now she kind of feels like shit because everybody else in the class can do not a perfect snatch, but they're all doing snatches, or they're all doing handstand push-ups. And I think you're going to find it's a lot easier to get people fit using basic movements that we've all had since we were 3 years old, with the strongman stuff. How does the class system work at your place right now?
So right now we have the CrossFit, which we started with, our base.
Are you still an affiliate as of right now?
I've not been an affiliate.
Okay.
I was not an affiliate. I came from CrossFit Akron when it went out of business.
Oh, I didn't even know they were. I saw their sticker up on my wall out there.
Yeah, it was.
That was a beautiful place.
Yeah, let me think. I opened up in January 4th of 2016. It shut down January 1st of 2016, December 31st.
Yeah.
So, and I rushed it. It was a big rush. It was a last minute thing, and I wanted to keep going with it. And So now what we have is we have our CrossFit. I have my classes today, but I've incorporated powerlifting, to which I program for them. Okay, we do have a few other people do off programming, lift on their own, which is fine.
Yeah.
And I noticed after I did that first competition here, and then a powerlifting, a lot of people asking me, what's this lift? Because my body was starting to change.
Yeah.
And they got interested. So I probably got 20, 25 people now that just strictly lift.
Right. Yeah.
And it's that change. They like it. They're loving it. Now the only downside, I've had a few people say, "Well, I'm gaining weight." I'm like, well.
Yeah, that's forget about the scale when you start training heavy.
And it's finding that the people like you're saying that can do that and not stare at that scale.
Yeah, we've got a girl in here, Jen Revis, who is I don't know, but she's probably gained 15 pounds since she's been in here, but she is jacked to the tits. I mean, just. You look at her back from behind, it looks like a bag of ropes. I mean, she's just, guns and legs and butt and, just jacked. And she's got a little tiny waist, but she's probably 15 pounds heavier, but looks fantastic,
Absolutely.
And I think it's really hard. And I think that's part of what you're going to have to do culturally is just educate your people that this is a whole different way of looking at fitness. This is... training to be formidable is the way I like to put it. And it's a lot more fun, and I tell you what, you get a whole hell of a lot more attention when you walk into your local restaurant looking like that in a tank top than you do if you're some skinny girl walking into a restaurant. It's kind of cool, and I think the ones who embrace that are going to get so much more out of the programming than they will at any CrossFit gym around town for sure. How did you get into this to begin with? Like, how did you find CrossFit first, or?
So I got an interesting story. So I went to school for a golf course superintendent. So
living the life of leisure. That's the way to.
Yeah, I wish. I think my hours were longer than.
Yeah, we've got one in here he works his ass off.
It's incredible. But so I went down to school, went to Ohio State, got out of school, went to a golf course in Canton. And while I was down at Ohio State, I developed some bad habits. Got into a lot of cocaine, and it trickled over. Once I started making money, got a real job. Yeah, just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And then
you still got to get some income to feed that.
Yeah, and went up to another club here in Cleveland, over on the east side, and my dad was my boss. And that's when it got crazy. I was making a lot of money. I had a girlfriend. We hadn't gotten married yet. When we got married, I finally hit my. I got caught. Yeah. I've been to jail. Yeah. I've been to rehab multiple times. All this stuff, nothing worked. I didn't care. Yeah. Fuck it. I just went out, did whatever I wanted to do.
Were you naturally like an addictive personality?
Yeah. Like I played sports growing up. Everything I did, I've always done as hard as I can do it. Yeah. That's just how I do it. It's weight training, whatever. Right. So I found CrossFit Akron North up in Stowe, and the minute that barbell went in my hand, man, I was done.
Yeah, got you to quit and everything?
I quit.
No shit.
I mean, that was it. Never again.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. That was what saved my life. This saved my life. Yeah. The weightlifting, the bar, anything. It was that was it for me.
And then you were full bore.
Yeah.
CrossFit.
And went into CrossFit hard, and I went in hard. I was about 305 pounds when I started CrossFit.
Wow, and you're how tall?
6 foot. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. In high heels.
Right, that's sure.
And, I lost boatload of weight to start, got down, lost like 50 pounds in the first couple months.
How the hell were you a 300-pound cocaine?
That's what I said. I was the only fat cokehead out there.
Right. Wow, yeah.
Yeah, I was just, I binge eat and do that. Yeah. And I didn't do anything else. I worked. Right. Never affected my job much. I'm still able to work.
You were a functioning addict.
Yeah, functioning addict. It was destroying my marriage because we were married at this time. Yeah. And I went into a little felony drug program they had in Akron. And I couldn't have failed it any harder. And eventually they just said, you're going to jail. Yeah. 3 weeks. Summit County Jail, go.
That's not a
No.
light duty.
No.
At Summit County Jail.
Yeah, they put me in there 3 weeks. I was flipped my mind.
Yeah.
Went and spent another 45 days in a halfway house. Literally got married a month after I got out of it. Got engaged while I was in there.
Yeah.
And and I got out.
Was she a straight arrow?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Straight arrow. Just was
probably a fixer.
Hoping.
Thought she could fix you up.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
And then she got into the stuff too. Of talking to people. About how to deal with it.
Yeah.
And that changed with her. And I got out of jail. Stayed clean for 3 months. Something like that. And just said, whatever. Did it again.
Yeah.
Right back into it with my cat. And I started working out. I shouldn't say I was in I started CrossFit, but I never went.
Yeah.
Because I was still involved. And then when I got into it, she left for Florida, my wife, for a couple months. I just focused, and that's what I did. I took over and
gave your brain some other outlet
Yeah.
other than constantly searching for your next fixes coming
Mhm.
in. Were you when you were in high school? Were you a drinker or that kind of stuff? Did stuff lead up to it?
I drank. I played sports though, so I didn't do a lot of it.
Right.
How
did it start?
We were just I was down with my group of buddies, Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
We smoked weed.
Yeah.
Drank, did all that, and it was like, what's next?
Yeah.
It was stay up and party.
Yeah.
Michigan weekend. Let's see if we can go Thursday to Sunday. And for a lot of those guys, it went away after college.
Yeah.
For me, it didn't. It hung on to me. And I lost a large group. All those guys. I'm not friends with them anymore.
Yeah.
I just can't be. It's just.
It's amazing how some people will get that urge and stick with it, and then other people can be, I've done it for this many years, I'm just done. But when you quit, it was cold turkey. You were
one day.
Yeah.
Stopped.
Just was sick or anything?
No.
Just
said, I'm done.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Right.
And and I can't say exactly what it was, but I'll tell you what, that was about a week after I started working out.
No shit.
So,
wow. Did you have coaches there that were inspirational?
Yeah. Jason Elrod, who owned CrossFit Akron North and now owns CrossFit Steele's Corners, he was inspired. He got me loving CrossFit and everything, and the working out and everything, and and then he got me interested in training.
Right.
And that's kind of where it just took off for me. So.
Yeah, I talk to people all the time about the functional fitness experience, or the functional fitness way of training, and in my opinion, functional fitness is the best form, or it's the best thing that's happened to the fitness industry possibly ever.
Mm-hmm.
I am not a fan of CrossFit as an entity. Or HQ. I think that they taint. Once people get a feel for CrossFit as an entity, I think it taints everything they do as functional fitness, and you have to just separate the two from each other. So what we do as part of our conditioning is very functional fitness. We're lifting stones, we're doing Olympic lifts, we're running, we're rowing, we're doing body weight movements. But everything that comes out of, and I shouldn't say everything, but a lot of the stuff that comes out of HQ for CrossFit is detrimental to functional fitness, because I don't think it stays true to what functional fitness was to begin with, where it was this community of people who just wanted to get fit and were looking for the best possible ways to get themselves fit. And I think once you start dealing with $1 billion business, and you're dealing with Reebok, and now I guess they're suing Reebok, but I know those things. Yeah, Reebok. And let me see if I'll probably get this story wrong, but CrossFit is now suing Reebok, and in CrossFit's defense, it seems like it's a legit reason. So they had a deal where CrossFit would get a percentage of wholesale, CrossFit would get a percentage of wholesale from Reebok, and Reebok was reporting net sales to CrossFit. So it came to something outrageous, like they owed CrossFit like $16 million because of this scam they basically ran on them. So I don't know what will happen now as far as the relationship between Reebok and CrossFit. I mean, that's stealing $16 million from somebody is a hard pill to swallow.
That's a lot. But
what are they going to make? I'm sure the lawyers will figure it out.
Right.
Worst relationships have stayed together, but I found CrossFit HQ to be anti-community, in my opinion. Like, I won't follow them on Instagram or I don't follow CrossFit. I don't follow the CrossFit Games. I don't know who won the CrossFit Games this year. None of that stuff. I try to stay as far away from it as possible, and I don't want to be influenced by it as possible. It's one of the reasons why I don't follow a lot of other CrossFit gyms on Instagram either, so I don't want to be influenced by what they do. But
you're not affiliated.
No, I was. For a few years we were affiliated, and we really didn't.
Did you start as a CrossFit gym?
Well, I started as a gym just for athletes, so just football, track and field, those guys. And then when my wife and I met, we went into an actual building. We were in my garage, and we went into a building, and she was a CrossFit regional competitor in Texas. So she had the pedigree,
Sure.
She was the real deal, and not built to do CrossFit. She's 5'10", 5'11", and jacked, and her doing handstand push-ups, just amazing. She can pull off the gymnastics shit, but she made it, or she qualified for the regionals in Texas. So when we got together, we're like, well, I'm training all these athletes and powerlifters and stuff like that, and she's got this CrossFit pedigree. We put it together, and then I started getting into functional fitness, and I'm like, wow, this is really cool. And I found like Rob Orlando was doing stuff with strongman implements. I'm like, wow, I can do something else with this. We don't have to do thrusters and pull-ups. We can think of other ways to get people moving in this. And like I said, that functional fitness side of it, where you're constantly varying the movements and the workouts and the time ranges, and I think all that stuff's fantastic. You just got to put your own seal on it, and you don't want to be that gym where he said, I'm surrounded, and not really surrounded, but if you go from my gym all the way to Cleveland, every single exit has at least one, if not, like if you hit 83, there's like 3 CrossFit gyms there, every single exit. But for the majority of them, you could go to one and do Fran on Monday, and go down the street and do Fran on Tuesday. And, they're all doing the same shit. And I think a lot of that comes from kind of this, I like CrossFit, so I'm going to start my own CrossFit. But they're just, they're similar to what they learn, so they don't spend a lot of time going outside of CrossFit for education.
See, that's how I loved CrossFit and got in that, but I think everybody's fitness evolves.
Absolutely.
And that's what happened with me, and it's happening with a lot of the people in our gym. We got some phenomenal, no regional athletes, but some phenomenal CrossFitters that have now just gone into lifting, and I think everybody evolves.
Yeah.
And I think there needs to be somebody, there's not a gym like that down in Akron where it's just pure strength. There's a few, but I mean not.
Well, you're putting it together. It's pure strength, but it's conditioning. It's similar to what we do. There's not many functional fitness gyms that have a focus on the strength aspect of it.
And I tell you, I said, we get down lifting, I go, if you're not sweating, you ain't doing it right. Mm-hmm. I go, this is still hard work.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Keep those rest periods short. Keep the heart rate up. And we were when Zach first came here, Zach Pepe, he had left Ashland, University of Ashland, so he was in my program as a kid. Mm-hmm. Went to University of Ashland, who has a fantastic strength and conditioning program. Sat out for 6 months and gained about 60 pounds, and then came into our place, and we're doing max effort work with a minute rest in between, maybe a little bit more if we've got more guys in a group, but it's basically you go, I go, you go, I go. And then he was dying for the first few months because he's like, man, how do you keep progressing, with these weights if you're not taking enough rest periods? That's you'll get used to it. And, he started losing weight, and all of a sudden now it's, he'll push us a little bit to keep those rest periods short. And yeah, you're right. You definitely, it's a workout,
Yeah.
And there's plenty of guys that are jacked with six-pack abs where all they do is lift weights. They don't really do the conditioning.
When I was at my best at cross, I was 205.
Mm-hmm.
Liked how I looked, and I still think I don't like to look like crap. Nobody does.
Why even do it if you do?
Now I weigh 240.
Yeah.
I think I look better now than I did when I was 205.
Yeah.
I feel better.
Sure.
I feel stronger. I mean, even the powerlifting to the strongman, hadn't done much with the stones lately. My back been bothering me. I picked up a stone the other day. I'd just been powerlifting.
Yeah.
That stone was light.
Yeah.
It was good. I just want to put those two things together and mold them into something, that's different, something
and uniquely
special.
your own.
Yeah.
Well, you talked about finding your niche, and that's super important. And I think finding your niche has to come, if you're going to be successful, it has to come with something you're passionate about. So you can't, if you're not passionate about strict CrossFit, I think that's a lot of the reasons why some of these places shut down, is they're not following their heart and doing what they love.
Yeah.
We've got one CrossFit gym here just down the road where the majority of their programming is rowing and running. And for me, fuck that. I'm not going to that gym. But their owners, I think the lady is like a former triathlete type person. So, hey, great. If you're into that stuff, I've got a buddy, Terry Kemp, who would probably thrive in that environment. And I wish it was more. So my friend Tom Reaney is at Black Flag. And for my money, if you want a traditional CrossFit in the Cleveland area, you go to Black Flag, because you're going to learn the Olympic lifts from a guy who really knows his Olympic lifts. You're going to learn the gymnastics, and he talks about being a better mover, which I always make fun of him about, because I hate that. There were no good movers when I was a 16-year-old kid. But all that shit you have that at Black Flag. So when someone comes in looking for a traditional CrossFit, that's where I send them, because try this. If it's something different and you see it and you may like it, maybe you switch over and you want to do our brand of fitness. But if you are in this for traditional CrossFit, go see Tom. He's going to hook you up. And Powell out there are going to hook you up. And what I would like to see is more people do that. So like we're talking about this gym that's run by a triathlete. If someone comes in and they're jacked to the gills and wants to lift weights, they should say, this probably isn't the place for you. Go see Mark at Blind Dog, and it would be so much better with the community that CrossFit preaches if we did that as a group.
Yeah, the competition's killed the community.
It really has, right?
And I agree with you. That's another CrossFit. It's, to me anymore, I mean, it's just a bunch of pretty people, and it's about money now.
It's definitely about money, and I get that. I'm a capitalist. I want to make some cash.
Sure.
But there's that rising tide that raises all boats philosophy that I love. And it's part of the evolution that when I went through, because when I got out of pro Highland Games, all I wanted to do was fucking still crush everybody.
Yeah.
So I'd look at everybody's programming, and someone would post a picture of themselves in front of their whiteboard, and I would count, see how many people they had that day, see how many. I don't do any of that shit anymore, because none of it is productive. I want to be super successful, and I want Coca CrossFit North Ridgeville to be super successful, because there are a million people walking through the Targets and Aldis of this country who aren't in the mix yet. And there's plenty to go around. Plenty to go around. We're getting like 1% of our area's athletes are in my gym. Not even 1%.
No, and you're right. And everybody talks about, there's too many CrossFits. There's so many people.
Yeah, there sure is.
You just got to find that niche. Yeah. You got to find what people are going to.
And all you need is your 100 people.
Yeah.
You need your 100 people. Make your gym successful.
Yeah.
And we've gone way above that. We've gone slightly below that, but it's always around 100 people that are just. And right now, a couple years ago, we would have days where we would have like 90 some people on the board, and the time hop on Facebook is awesome, because you can go back and look at stuff. And I look at that board, and I'm like, what the fuck are these people? Like they were in for a week, or they were in, and that took away from training my 75 hard nose. I'm in here 4 or 5 days a week, and I'm killing it. I'm really dedicated to it. So I got away from, we got to have 200 people and then 300 people. This is Lorain, Ohio. you know, I'm going to get my 100 hard chargers and just work with them, you know, until they're the best possible athletes they can be. And there's nobody that comes into my gym right now where I'm just like, fuck this guy, you know. Well, there is one or two, but
there always is.
One or two.
There always is.
But you know, it's a good feeling to have 100 people who live and die by your programming and that you love, and it's a good feeling, man.
It is, and that's, you know, I've got 50 core members, and they're the members that came with me from CrossFit Akron.
Yeah,
they came with us.
Yeah,
and then it's like it's just the flow of in and out, back and forth, orange, going here, trying this, doing that.
Yeah,
and it's like for every one you get, sometimes you lose two, and I don't want to. I'm done with that cycle. Right. I want people that are passionate and want to do it because I'm passionate about it. And just like you said, you can be an entrepreneur and go start a gym, but if you're not passionate about it, it's gonna die.
Yeah,
you gotta love what you're doing.
Yeah, I've kind of gotten. So I worked a shitty job for 19 years that I could have cared less about. It was a constant battle. I was the union rep, you know, all this shit. And now I've gotten to the point in my life where I'm making enough money and successful enough where I can just go, no, we're not doing that. And maybe it's a bad business decision, maybe it's not, maybe it's a good relationship decision, maybe it's not, but if it doesn't make me happy, I just say no, I'm not going to do that. And it lets me focus on the things I love. So, you know, Refined Savage is something where I can be super creative, whether it's the podcast or the t-shirts, and I'm putting it all together, and I'm sitting there at night, and my wife's, you know, not complaining, but she's like, God, you're always on your phone, and I'll show her what I'm working on. See, this new t-shirt I'm going to put out next week. Or the programming, you know, I can't wait to get up Sunday morning because I got my coffee and I got my ducks that roost in my yard. I'm sitting there and I'm just putting together the programming for the week, and I'm thinking,
it's fun.
Oh, this is great, right?
So much fun doing it.
Yeah. And there's no downside to that. There's no shit. I don't want to be doing this, you know. And is this like your primary gig now? Are you done with the golf course?
Yeah, I've been out of the golf course. Well, shit, I got fired by my own dad with the drug thing.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That's a hard pill to swallow.
It was, but you know what? It was for the best.
Your parents still around?
My mom passed away last summer. Actually, just about a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, that was my first test, I thought, too, with the whole going back to drugs thing. That was the toughest thing I've gone through in my life.
Yeah.
You know, once again.
How old a woman was she?
She was 62.
God, that's
lung
not
cancer
old at all. Yeah.
Lung cancer. That was hard to watch.
Smoker, probably.
Smoker.
Yeah.
Yep. Smoker, hard to watch. You know, and I had a lot of feelings on it too, because, you know, last 5-6 years of her life, up until the last couple, you know, it was the roughest part of my life, so I didn't get to spend a lot of time with my mom.
Yeah.
You know, because I was going through my shit, and that's something I'll always regret. You know what I mean? That's just one of those things that.
It's tough. I look at my family now, and my parents live 7 miles away from me. But you're busy. You're constantly busy, and you know, I'll sit on the couch and think, "Oh God, I gotta get over there and visit." You know, they're only 7 miles away. When do I have 2 hours to do that? You know, you have to make that time, and you know, you start thinking about that, and you know, 62 is not old.
No,
you know, that's tough. Did she get to see you succeed before she went?
Yes.
Yeah.
She did. That made me happy.
Yeah.
It did.
It probably was the best thing she could have gotten.
And you know, and I remember with her, we were Coca CrossFit. I was doing a CrossFit competition there, and that was when in my first year, probably getting better.
Yeah.
And she came up to watch. She really didn't know. My mom didn't know what
sure, right.
She saw, she knew what it was, but she didn't know what the hell we were doing. And you know, and I looked over after I was competing, and she was in tears.
Yeah.
And man, I'll tell you what, that's just paints that picture. I mean.
Yeah, that's some life shit.
That's life shit, and it's, you know, and that's one of the things that makes me passionate about this. If that's, you know.
Yeah, you get those moments through athleticism of any kind that are. I'm a very emotional guy, and I will break down in tears at the weirdest shit, especially now that I'm in my 40s, and you know, I think maybe it was having a kid, and you change a little bit, and you start to evolve, and but there are athletic moments where where you see that athlete on top of the podium at the Olympics and he's just bawling, just tears streaming down his face, or there's a great story about Lance Deal. So Lance Deal was a hammer thrower from Oregon, and he was at the time the best American hammer thrower we had, and America is not good at the hammer throw. That's a very European and Russian, or Asia thing, and the Olympics are in Atlanta, and he is our best hope in years to get a medal. And he goes out and he has 2 shitty throws in the preliminaries, and then he gets a hold of kind of a crappy one on his third, and it barely gets out there, and it actually ties him. So he's not going to make the finals. So he starts taking his shoes off, and this is it. He's done. His whole, everything he's trained for his whole life is up to this, and this is his last Olympics. He's taking his shoes off and he's crying, and then they come to him and they said, well, there's been a mistake. You actually made the finals because we're going to take the 2 guys who tied at the end because you've got the same throw. We're going to move you on to the finals. Boom, new lease on life. But now he's gone through this emotional thing where he thought his career was over, and it's hard to deal with. You're already in a very emotional situation in the Olympics, and he goes back in the tunnel. So now what they do is they make you sit for hours before the finals, just for, the way the Olympics runs. And he comes out of the tunnel, and his wife is hanging over the railing on the tunnel, and she whistles for him, and he turns around and she goes, yeah, you know how to throw far. And it just turned a switch in his head, and he went out there, and there's this incredible video, and I get chills just talking about it. Incredible video of he hits that final throw, and it's the silver medal throw. And he screams at the ball as it's going, and he's like pounding his fist, and it's just like this release of everything that he's been doing for his entire life to get him to this point, and it's an incredible and emotional moment. And if you ever look at that, you look up Lance Deal Atlanta Olympics, that final throw, and it's an amazing moment. And there's an article talking about his wife yelling down and saying that to him and flipping that switch. But you get these moments in athletics where you have this, accumulation of all your bullshit in life that comes out in this one moment where you're everything, your physical preparedness and your mental focus and all your emotions and all these sacrifices you did have come down to this one moment in time. Whether that's competing at CrossFit in front of your mom or the Olympics.
No, it doesn't matter what level it is.
Right.
It's what it is to you, and that's a great story.
Yeah, it was something else. But that's what we can do for everybody. Everybody who walks in the door. It's such a cliche thing that, you're an athlete now. You're an athlete now. Well, not necessarily.
No.
You've got to take that. You've got to swallow that pill, and you've got to turn yourself into an athlete. You can't come in and take 2 CrossFit classes a week and go out and party on the weekends and call yourself an athlete. You have to make some sacrifices, and you have to make a determination that this is your life now. You're going to, carve out an hour. For most serious athletes, that's nothing.
No.
Carve an hour out of your day, 3 or 4 times a week minimum, where you are going to focus. And then you're going to do the right things when you get home, when you eat, and when you go out on the weekends.
Changes everything.
Changes your whole life.
Changes your whole life. And that's what I love what you're talking about with the lifting. It's not that I can't do this movement, or I can't do this movement, I can't do a handstand push-up, I can't do a muscle up. It's just about how strong are you?
Yeah.
What can you do? Yeah. Sure, there's form things, but is doing a bench press or a squat as difficult as, stringing together 15 muscle ups, the complexity of it?
Right.
Probably not.
The complexity of it, probably not.
No, but yeah, it's tough, but I could sit down and teach somebody and get them how to bench press before they're ever going to get on those rings and toss themselves up there.
And they don't have to fail.
No.
They can succeed at the bench press on day one.
Day one. And, and especially, and I think the other niche is, with the athletes 35 and over, unless you're an elite athlete, that stuff's probably not that, that's not what you're going to be doing.
Right.
So that's where I'm looking into getting, and this is with Joel, who I talked about. Finding that
Joel
niche.
Woods. We've had him on the podcast.
And of getting those people that are my age and older, and getting them in the gym and lifting weights and getting them strong, and and getting that feeling of, for maybe the first time in their life, that they felt strong.
Yeah.
And changing those later years.
Yeah.
And to me, I mean, what were you going to say?
No, I was go ahead.
And I think that's important because, and I'll be honest, I have a really hard time right now connecting with the millennial age group.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. I just have a different mindset there.
Yeah.
I'm a no bullshit, be on time. I don't care why you're not. If you're not, I don't care. Just get in here, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a hard time. I don't know if you do with them.
Yeah, so I think when you're dealing with them, with this
I know. The millennials. Yeah, exactly.
I think they've taken a lot of shit, and I think what you look, if you look back through history, you have. I don't think the millennials, and this might give me some heat. I don't think the millennials are any different than the baby boomers.
Mm-hmm.
My wife and I will go on cruises, and you watch these baby boomers, and what an entitled, whiny group of assholes a lot of these guys are. Because their parents came back from the war, and their parents were warriors and savages and fucking monsters, and they saved the world. And then they had these hippie, whiny, I get everything I want kids. And then those people had the next generation, which I guess was my generation, that Generation X type, that's probably your generation too, where we were a little bit more, I'm going to work really hard, and I'm going to try to be better than my parents, and try to make more money than my parents did. But it takes a lot of hard work, and I grew up in an area where everyone's dad was pretty wealthy, but everyone's dad was a Ford worker or a steel worker, so they were busting their ass and working real hard. So you saw that, and you go, oh, that's what it takes to succeed. And now you got the millennials, who I think are another sweep in that baby boomer generation. But for me, I'm trying really hard to understand them. We have them in the gym, and I think it's up to us. It's up to us to figure out how to deal with them, not the other way around. And we can we can work with that attitude one kid at a time, and just kind of bring them aside and say, hey, this is what I expect of you. And I know this sounds old school, but maybe that's okay. Maybe we can work through this. And I try not to, they'll come in with their kind of odd outfits. I think about the ones that are in gym, and they're coming in and working out in V-neck shirts and weird, like culotte pants and shit, And I just have to fight the inner urge to not, to be, fight that urge to be that old crotchety, the guy in the Muppet Show, the two old men screaming down the stage. And I see guys in the fitness industry now who are businessmen who, instead of trying to figure out ways to change their mindset in order to work with them, just bust their balls all the time. And those kids go, okay, well then I'm going to go buy a product from, Barbell Brigade or something instead of this T-shirt from this renowned powerlifter guy. And I think you're just cutting yourself off at the base if you don't find a way to understand those kids. And I think.
And we're here to help everybody.
You're here to help everybody, but I get the frustration because it's definitely a different mindset. And
it is.
We get gamers in here and shit. You're trying to figure them out. And I was talking the other day. We had this total nerd group there. It was this 6 a.m. class where we had all these gamers in there, and they're talking about this game and that game. And I'm like, we had Atari. I don't know how you ever got into Atari. But yeah, it's just a different mindset, and I'd urge you just to kind of sit down with them on an individual basis and figure out what Johnny's real story is, and let's face it, your way of thinking is the right way of thinking. You work hard, you show up on time, you bust your ass. We just got to instill that in them, just like we instilled that fitness is important with them.
I mean, we had it instilled in us, like you said. My dad was the same way. He worked golf courses. I didn't see my dad in the summer. That's what taught me. This is what you work hard, you make money, provide for your family. This is what you do. And the fun's out there to have, but it's kind of like it's almost changed from where we live to work to now it's work to live, almost.
that's for sure. You know, you think about those guys.
You know, but maybe that's okay sometimes because you know you gotta be happy.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't happy in the golf course business.
Right.
You know, that's why I was doing drugs. I wasn't happy doing that, so I go do drugs.
Right.
That made me happy. You know what I did when I do drugs? I go fishing.
On cocaine?
Yeah, that's all I ever did.
I can barely fish clean.
Fucking fish.
Yeah.
Let's go do an upper and stand. Crazy, isn't it?
I remember this, and I won't say the guy's name. I was at a Highland Games one time, and caber's the big event, and you get the most people surrounding the field to watch the caber, and they pulled out this big caber, and I'm in the tent with this legend who'd been in the sport for a while, and here I'm this young buck, you know, first maybe second year pro, and this motherfucker said, all right, let's get ready to go, and he pulled out this little vial and he poured it on this board, and he just hit a line and went out there and turned that caber, and I'm like, holy fuck! Jesus Christ, is that what I have to do? I was like, wow, I'm getting a huge education here.
Jesus Christ.
But, and he was a stud, man. He was a stud. But he was a wild man, too. And, you get all those stories. I remember hearing about a guy at a Highland Games where they came to the tent and said, well, we're doing drug testing today in the Highland Games. And the guy just kind of sat back and smiled and said, okay. He was a big, jacked, obvious user, you know. And they came back later on the day with the drug testing tubes, and one of the guys said, aren't you worried? And he goes, no, I poured all my shit in the water tank. You've all been drinking it all day too. We're all testing it. So I don't know how true that is, but that was always a story that went around the circuit that he fucked everybody that day, so everyone was going to test hot. That's old school though, man. That's
good.
Yeah.
And that's the other, that's some people like, I come from that, and it's just absolutely crazy now, the drugs with the heroin and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'd love to help those guys. I'd love to see other people.
So where's the bridge? How can you get those guys?
That's a tough bridge there.
Yeah.
I've even sent some emails out to the felony drug court and stuff in Akron, and I haven't got any responses yet. I think if I really pushed it harder on them, but it's trying to find where that's hard to do. But I think it could help so many people.
And you would think that you would be the guy to do it. Again.
Yeah, I've been there. Changed my life.
Yeah.
Why can't it change somebody else's?
If you could go to one of these halfway houses and talk to the guys, and I'm sure you'll see them. You'll see the guys that have that fire, or that they're kind of jacked, even though they're not healthy, and you can get them. You can get them to that point where maybe if you get one guy who you change, you've done your part, right?
Yeah, save a life.
That's a really interesting idea. We've had a gentleman in here, Ed, who him and I have kind of gone to the juvenile court about working with some of these kids, because that's why I worked for 19 years, and the juvenile court's a shit show around here. But forget about that. Let's try to help that one kid. That one kid who he's a good kid, but maybe he's got shitty parents. He just got that bad turn of the card. You grew up in when you got pulled in from the other dimension, boom, you went to the wrong house.
Yeah.
You ended up in the projects, and your mom's a shithead, and your dad's never been around, and somehow you've turned out to be a decent kid, even though you make the wrong decision consistently every single time. And maybe we can get that one kid in here and just change him around. But it would come, like you said, it would come with having to sit down with him at this desk and say, this is what I expect out of you. And the first time you fuck up, there's going to be repercussions. And they're going to be physical repercussions that are going to make you throw up. Mm-hmm. And the second time, maybe it's going to be it's going to be worse repercussions. And the third time, you're gone.
That's it.
But, if you can withstand that punishment, it'll change your life, make you a better human being.
I just want to help people.
Yeah.
I'm packed. I have the gym, but it's not cutting it right now. So I have another job. I work in between classes.
What do you do now?
I work with an estate sale company.
Okay.
So I get to move heavy furniture, which works out pretty good. Anyway,
sure. Physical.
But that's to me. I'll put in a 16, 18-hour day. Just so we can have this gym, man. I love it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get away from it.
Yeah,
That's why I'm out talking to you guys and trying, just kind of having a casual conversation with other gym owners and just getting into their minds a little bit, because I can't do it on my own. I am not a businessman by trade.
Right.
I'm a grass grower.
Right.
I was physical, always physical,
Yeah. Well, I tell people there's no way this gym would still be in existence today without my wife. And I don't know if it bugs her. I'm sure it does that she gets literally zero recognition because I'm the clown. I'm the cartoon character that everybody associates with Fine Savage and Blind Dog.
Yeah.
But my expertise is in getting people strong and fast. That's what I do. I had no business sense. I had no systems in place. I had nothing. And she's an MBA. So when you bring in her MBA and her love of functional fitness, and you brought my programming in with the strength and speed stuff, and you put those two things together, that's what created Blind Dog. But if it wasn't for her, I'm still training people out of my 20 by 20 garage.
Mm-hmm.
And people are saying, "Oh, I'll pay you next month. I'll pay you next month. I'll pay you next month," and I'm not making a dime. I always say I brought 12 members over when we went from my garage to Blind Dog, and 4 of those were paying members because the other ones just never paid me. They would just, I'll get you next month.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you're dealing with 15-year-old kids where you tell them, "Hey, you're due for this month," and they don't ever go tell their parents because they're thinking about whatever else. But it's super important to have somebody who can run the business side of it. And the other thing is I get these grandiose ideas. So I'll come up with an idea. "Hey, I think we should have a contest or a competition where we do this." Okay. And Aaron's like, "Fuck. Now I got to put this competition together." I mean, the Highlander was me going, "We should bring a Highlander to this area of the country." And she's like, "What the fuck's a Highlander?" I had to tell her about it. She's like, "Okay." So she had to organize everything, And same with Odin's challenges. None of those events would run anywhere near as smoothly without. I mean, now I've learned from her how to do a lot of these things, and it's kind of like a kid riding a bike where she was holding onto my handlebars and my shoulders for a long time, and now she'll just slowly let go. But all the time I got to come back to her and learn some other new skill. And that's really tough, to do the business end of it, especially when you don't love that part of it.
Right.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe instead of just talking to other gym freaks about that stuff, learn from the guys that are really successful in the business end of it. Even though those guys might not be the guys you want to emulate because they are businessmen, and sometimes you get that slimy vibe off them. But I bet you Joel could point you in the right direction for sure. Guys who know the business end of that for sure.
Yeah, he's been helping. I mean, he's helped me. He's kind of gave me some homework. Mm-hmm. Pick your 3 things that you want to focus on.
Yeah.
Give me some good books to read. I know you read a lot of good books. I always see you posting books.
They don't help with my business stuff. They're always like, I've read so many books on the Greek phalanx.
Yeah.
There's stuff I enjoy.
But reading makes you think.
It does.
It does. It's better than sitting in front of the tube and just frying your mind.
Yeah, we have people laugh at us because they come over and there's no TV anywhere, and we'll we watch Netflix and stuff on the computer, or a lot of YouTube stuff, but I try to get up every morning and get 45 minutes to an hour of reading in before anything, because I think it just gets you. I would like to be able to work out that time if I get my workout partners in there, but they need a little bit more sleep, but it gets your mind right, gets your brain firing, and the wheels turn, and it's a lot better than if you have a 6 o'clock class, waking up at 5:30 all groggy-eyed, barely getting to the gym on time, and it's definitely...
Your first class is 5 a.m.
Do you get many people for that?
That's one of my biggest classes of the day.
People say that all the time. I ran a 5 a.m. class here for about 6 months, and the first day it was packed, and then after that, people were like, "Fuck this." I just never ran it again,
No, it is. It's one of my busiest classes of the day. You're consistent too.
Maybe it's because you're closer to Akron, and
could be
people going getting their work done. early, you know. But yeah, I just never had anybody wanting to do that class. So.
No, the weightlifters, they don't come in at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a couple, but that's too early to lift weights.
How many classes you run in a day?
We have 7 classes.
Okay.
7. Well, it's different. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays are a little different, but 6 to 7 classes.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have many coaches helping, or
me?
Just you?
My wife. My wife does it too.
So you guys are doing all 7 classes a day. That's tough, man.
It is.
Because you got to be on for every one of those classes.
Yeah.
You can't come in and be exhausted. No.
And they go off your vibe.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're down and shitty, that's what they're gonna, you know.
I coach 4 a day because that's what I can handle. Mm-hmm. I can be up for 4 classes a day and be on and be happy to see you. But I've done all 7 classes in a day, and I'm exhausted and not happy by the time the day's over.
Yeah. See, I'm good with it. I'm a morning guy, so 5 a.m. doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
I've been golf course. I was getting up that early anyways.
Yeah.
So used to. You know, as long as I can get my workout in between there before the afternoon, evening classes start, I'm good. Because then I'm, feeling good from lifting.
What time do you train?
I try to train about 1 to 3.
Yeah.
Usually my block.
That's one of the things that I'll encourage you to keep up, because you see that a lot with people who start a CrossFit gym or a regular gym, and then they're like, well, I don't have time to train anymore. I'm not getting my training in, or I'm having to rush my training. That'll make you unhappy so fast in your life.
Oh, yeah.
And then while you're training, sometimes people are coming up and asking you questions. I've set out a rule, and it's a known rule in this gym, that lunch crew from 11 a.m. to 12, if I'm in the middle of a Metcon, you don't fucking come up and ask me questions. I'll come spot you. This is my workout time. Leave me alone. Or come up and have a conversation with me, but don't ask me about programming or diet, or this is my hour. And if I want to talk to you on a one-on-one basis about things that are happening in life, tell me about your kids, tell me about your vacation, but I'm not here to coach you from 11 to 12 every day. Any other time, if I'm awake, my cell phone is there. You can text me, you can call me, whatever. Don't call me. I fucking hate answering the phone, but you can text me, or you can come and talk to me any other time of day except from 11 to 12, because that's when I train. And if I don't get that, I'm going to be a grumpy, miserable, fat bastard who's not going to want to run this gym anymore.
Unfucking believable how your mood changes.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'll just be pumped, like irritated, fucking irritable.
Yeah.
Hit the weights for an hour.
It's better than any kind of antidepressant.
It is, and that's what I mean. That's where that change was. I feel better lifting weights when I'm doing it than I did doing drugs.
Yeah. I know that, and I don't understand depression at all. I've never, thank God. I mean, I've been blue. I've had sad times in my life, but that's not the same thing as being chemically depressed. And I always talk about that where, I'm on these medications. Well, maybe you should get in the gym. Well, some people can barely get off the couch. It's so fucking bad. But I wish when they first go to a doctor and they're diagnosed, and maybe when it's early in that sequence of events that happens where you become clinically depressed, they prescribe that as part of it. You need to go out and do something that sucks. Yeah. Go out and run hills, or swing a kettlebell around, or do some body weight exercises in your basement, and just push yourself to the point where for that 15-20 minutes you're not thinking about your life, and you're releasing all these endorphins, and then afterwards you feel so good about yourself. I gotta think that would help in a lot of cases. Or maybe after they get them on the medication for a while, then they prescribe that as part of it. And I think it's super important. I know we have people in here who are depressed and are on medications, and I worry about them, and they'll go away for 6 months, and I won't see them. And then I'll see them in Target, and they're like, I gotta get back. And all I gotta do is reel them in.
Yeah.
Just reel them in and get them back, and boom, I've got them for another 6 months, and they're super healthy and super happy, and it's so hard.
There's something too. I mean, and when you're depressed, when you accomplish something that you didn't think you could accomplish, and put yourself through that struggle, you can't tell me it doesn't make you stronger mentally.
Yeah. Yeah.
It has to.
I wonder, again, harkening back to other generations, we didn't see this, and I'm guessing we didn't see this because it just technically wasn't a diagnosis. I'm sure there were people who were clinically depressed.
Oh, yeah.
But I wonder if that's entirely the case, or if it's something in our society that is lacking that's bringing that on. I have a firm belief, and I'm sure you do too, that you need to struggle. There has to be some kind of struggle in your life. We were meant to be hunting mammoth and running away from saber-toothed tigers, and now we sit behind desks and play on our cell phones, and we have to find some way to stimulate that. I read this book by Sebastian Junger called Youre, and he had gone and was at this remote outpost in Afghanistan with these young kids who are out there and they're fighting every day.
Mm-hmm.
And they're getting attacked every day, and they're just tip of the spear. Nobody's coming there and checking your beard or to make sure you have their uniform on. They're sleeping with their boots on and their gun next to them, and they're getting out there and getting after it daily. And they were at their absolute happiest when they were getting after it daily, and they were fighting for their lives and fucking people up. And that sounds like a crazy thing, but I think that's what we're meant to do. That kind of struggle and then they all came back to society, and you looked at these struggles and the problems and the drug abuse and the suicides, and because they weren't happy anymore, and that's such a fucked up thing.
That's so fucking sad.
We all strive for comfort, and we're looking for comfort, and we're looking to get to the point where it's easy, and I don't think that's what we were meant to do.
No. I think this thing right here is going to kill society. Cell phone.
The cell phone, yeah.
Man, just the way everything is just right there.
It's
right
such
now.
an incredible resource, but
it's just like anything else. We're going to take advantage of it, and we're going to take it to the absolute max.
Yeah.
I swear, with all the school shootings and all this, that shit happened before. Probably maybe not as much, but you didn't hear about it as much because it wasn't one click away or one beep away your cell phone, and then now 12 other people were thinking about doing it and want to do it because he did it. I tried. I've been trying to make an effort to stay off of that thing, and even so, it's tough when when I'm a gym owner. Social media. Do I love social media? No.
Yeah.
But there's certain things about it. Yeah, I do. I just don't like where it's going.
Right.
But you got to do it.
You have to.
You have to.
Yep.
That's how people hear about you now.
Yep. And I've done this before, and I made a decision the other night that I want to really try to stick with this time, and I have to look at it just like anything else in my life, that it's a discipline thing. That when I come home from the gym I get home at 6 o'clock, as soon as my wife gets home, so I know she's not in a traffic accident or something.
Yeah.
Everyone's home in the house safely. I'm going to take that cell phone. I'm going to put it up on my bed. And then I'll check it right before I go to bed to make sure the gym isn't on fire or something. And then I'm going to go to bed. But I'm going to take from the time my wife and son get home at say 6 o'clock till 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night. And that's going to be human interaction time. And you know what? My wife can be on her cell phone, or my son can be on his cell phone. That's going to have to be their own trip.
Yeah.
But me, Mark Felony, is going to be present from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. every night, and I'm not going to worry about whether Stephen Moore has a slip disc and can't deadlift tomorrow. I'm just going to work on Mark Felony being present with his family. And I think just doing things like that, people put stuff on their cell phone, like apps that'll track the amount of time or stop you from using your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you've been on for 6 hours today. We're done. Your phone isn't going to work. You can do that on your own.
If you can't, then you got to be able to do it on your own.
You got much more problems.
You got to discipline yourself.
Yeah. But that was something I made just the other day that I'm going to do because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of sitting on the couch and I'm not talking to other people. I'm not even 99% of the time. It's not someone from the gym texting me. It's me trying to come up with a new T-shirt design or something like that. And my wife's on her phone and she's looking at Freddie Mercury videos or something great. We gotta fucking stop.
Yeah.
There's 2 beautiful ducks roosting in my yard that I just am obsessed with watching. Let's just watch that.
I've even thought about. I've thought about at the gym. I thought about putting a bass out front and said, put it in here. But can you do that to people? It's hard to do to people that are in business, that are doing, because if I the fucking gym selfie, I worked out today.
But they're promoting your business.
But they're promoting your business.
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking our business because we don't do it that much. I mean, I do most of the photos.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, just, I don't know, that goddamn cell phone.
I wanted to do that. We had a Christmas party 2 years ago, and I was so desperate for, and it was before the podcast. It was one of the reasons why I started the podcast. Is I was so desperate for actual conversations with humans. You know, sitting down here. We've sat here for the last, hour and not looked at our cell phones once, right? I wanted to have a basket at the front door, and everybody comes in and puts their cell phone in the basket. You can collect at the end of the night. But then I'm thinking, they all got kids. They, the babysitters. I know that there was a time in this country where we weren't in constant communication. But I think it's really hard that now that we've gotten so used to it that we put that away and we don't worry about, is this next text coming through something that's going to say my son is in trouble or something,
People are good for the most part. You hear phones ring when people are working out. I usually don't go over to them.
Right.
So that's good. But yeah, it's...
I just gently ridicule them when they do.
Oh yeah, you gotta bust balls, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse. The internet's, again, one of the greatest things that has happened to society, and it's also the worst,
Yeah.
And I think we're just so new to this that we're just trying to figure it out, and maybe a decade from now things will look different. The landscape will look different. We're not, I don't know, something else will probably come along that'll replace it, but we're so new to it, and we're just trying to figure it out as humans, and having this magic box that gives you all your answers, right at your fingertips,
Yeah.
It's amazing. But if we get back to, like we talked about, that struggle is where it's at. I think that's what's going to make us happy as humans.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Struggle through something.
So do you have any plans on the horizon? What's coming up for the gym?
So that's my plan, and I'm going to have to go about it. I want to switch us over to primarily powerlifting, strongman, strength training.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Will we do Metcons? Yeah, we'll do Metcons. Are there going to be snatches and 1,000 pull-ups? And no.
Mm-hmm.
Just, it's going to change.
Yeah.
And me myself, I'm going to do a lot of research, because I'm going to have a town hall meeting with the members. Am I going to lose a couple? Probably. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. My core members might hold with. At least give it a shot.
Yeah.
And explain to them the benefit, and show this is why we're doing this training.
Yeah.
This is what we're going to do.
Right.
So, if
and this isn't a whim. This is what I actually firmly believe is going to make you a better, healthier human.
That's what I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
I'm not passionate about some of as much. I don't have a desire anymore to do the muscle ups and stuff. Can I teach them? Yeah, I can teach them. Am I the best teacher? No, because I'm not passionate about it. Do I love putting a stone in my shoulder? Hell yeah. Am I passionate about it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to learn it? Let's go. I'll work with you however long you want. Let's do this.
Yeah.
And it's just it's finding the people to do the things that I'm passionate about, and that I want to push out there to everybody.
Yeah.
Instead of kind of just going with the functional fitness like everybody else doing, and just being on track for the norm and doing okay.
Yeah.
I
don't think you can fail if you're passionate about it and you work really hard at it. I just don't see that you're going to fail at it. I can see you failing doing something you don't care about or you don't believe in, and whatever success and failure is to you, is success now 100 members, or is it just 50 monsters who just just kill themselves? And maybe you definitely don't want to look at it as dollars and cents, as more as, am I helping, am I encouraging, am I getting these people better, do I have a following? Because without a following, this is all just shitting in the wind. There's no reason for it. But that's the kind of things you want to look at. And number one, are you thriving and happy doing what you're doing? And I think that'll bring more and more people into your gym. And where exactly is the gym?
In Copley?
Yeah.
Cleveland Maslin Road.
Okay.
It's do you know Copley area at all?
No, but I want people who are listening to this, if they're at some shitty CrossFit gym down the street.
Yeah. So 1245 Cleveland Maslin Road, Suite 205. It's right off the highway. We're not far off 77.
Website's
www.matadorstrengthandconditioning.com.
And follow you on
Instagram at Matador Strength.
Cool.
We're on Facebook.
So, just like I tell people about, if you're looking for a good CrossFit gym, go see Tom Reaney. Matador Strength's in your area. Go check it out. Especially if you're frustrated with still doing Fran after all these years, and still and maybe one of the greatest things is people, and you get this myth. There's always this myth that you're going to steal clients from other gyms, or that guy's stealing clients from me. That's not happening. I rarely get someone in from CrossFit No Mercy down the street who says, hey, I want to join your gym because I don't like CrossFit No Mercy. CrossFit No Mercy, and this is a fictional place I'm talking about, CrossFit No Mercy may be a shitty place, but they have a community at CrossFit No Mercy, and you don't drag people out of communities because you're going to help their deadlift.
No.
But if you are in a CrossFit gym and it's just not for you, and you haven't got to deadlift in the last 6 months, and that's what you really love to do, go to Mastodon and learn how to do that, and do the things you love.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to do that.
You can't force yourself into a way of exercise just to get healthy if you don't love it.
Right.
You got to love what you're doing, and then you'll come in, and then you'll be passionate about it, and then you'll stick with it.
And get jacked.
And get jacked. Get strong. Have fun. Lift up something heavy.
Absolutely.
Do something you've never done before. Fuck, that's what it's all about.
Living life.
That's right.
Well, this has been fantastic.
This is awesome, man.
We'll do it again sometime soon.
Absolutely.
All right, brother.
Thanks, buddy.
This has been the Refined Savage. See ya.